Hello, beautifuls. This is Anderson here, and welcome to another episode of The Bear It All with Mrs. Anderson. Today, we have a very interesting topic to dissect, open up, and crunch on. And it says, your husband's money is not your money. I know, wait. I know you're beginning to ask, what do you mean by that? I'm going to share with you a story. Before I go, and I want to introduce my guest today. She's no other than the beautiful Mrs.
Patience Ihidero.
Okay. And you'll be listening, you'll be hearing a lot of discussions, a lot of instances from today's topic. I'm going to tell you why I had to bring forth this topic. So for those who already know, I'm a counselor and I work with women a lot. Recently, I have been handling cases on women who've been dealing with abuse. And when they come in, I tend to ask myself, now you are stuck in this abusive marriage. You can't go out of it. You can't step out of it. You can't find your way. You really can't live without this man because you've gone through the years with this mindset that your husband's money is your money. And, I always say it's like you thinking from a non-realistic perspective. Now, the realistic perspective is the fact that that money may not be your money. By the time you're faced with issues and you realize that, wait, actually, the money is his money and you can't come out of it. So that's where the focus is. Do you think your husband's money is your money?
Okay, when you put it like that, but I still would like to stick with the fact that your husband's money is your money simply because he's your husband. And if two becomes one, that means his money automatically is your money. You might not have an ATM card to his account. That does not mean your money. Meanwhile, you should have an ATM card to his account. So
just a minute.
Yeah.
But do you think that's also realistic? Because I'm looking at it from a perspective where we don't just say it.
Okay.
Is it realistic that you have the ATM, the card to his account?
It is very realistic. It's like saying, do you know how much your husband earns?
Mm-hmm.
If you know how much your husband earns, I've seen couples that they have an ATM. Okay, maybe not to all of the accounts.
Okay.
Maybe there is a particular account that he wants you to.
Maybe expense account.
Yes, expense account.
Okay.
So sometimes joint account. Sometimes his own account. You have an ATM. You can go there and withdraw, especially with a sensible woman, because because there are some women that I think husbands know their wives. Basically, they know their wives. They know that okay, this woman can manage my money.
Okay.
I can give her my ATM account, ATM card, and then she will withdraw what she would need to withdraw. So she's not going to withdraw to buy Bone Street every second or every 5 days, every 5 bucket days. So I think that it's very possible. I have seen couples who can entrust their funds and their account to their wives. Okay. And it just shows how together, how much they are together, how much they're in love, how much they see themselves as one.
Okay. How realistic is this on the percentage level? Let's assume on 100. How realistic is this?
Okay, I would say 50%.
50%.
Yes, because of the kind of woman that the man is married to. So I think that if every woman is prudent,
but is that possible to be prudent? Because there are times when the man may say, "Oh, I know my wife," but you see, change is a constant thing. Okay. I know of a young man who reached out to me and is like, "Ma'am, I never knew he got married to a Jezebel." A Jezebel. So I said, "Okay, put the thoughts through. I want to understand where you're coming from." And he said he used to know her to be the prudent wife, and so he more like saying, "You can have my ATM card." He entrusted her with his card, and as the lady evolved over time, as she evolved over time, she would ask the man, "I want to buy this And the man would say, you are changing. You are changing. Why would you want to buy this hair? You used to plait thread. You just stay with that. Understand, understand. And she realized that he wasn't understanding anymore. And her taste was also changing. And one day he gave her the card and he traveled. You know.
I can imagine already.
And that very day, she got to the vendor and bought at least 3 hairs and told herself, if I perish,
I perish.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And by the time the man came, he almost pulled down the roof. Like, oh, she has changed, just keeping bad friends. You see, so he had to withdraw the card. Okay. And then she came to me and said, I just wish I had my own money. Wow. I wish I had my own money.
Okay.
If I could. And, you know, it's a lot because he stopped her from working. Okay. You know, at the point she came in from Lagos and all. It's a lot of story about that. Now, in that sense, would you blame the woman? Would you blame the man?
First, I would say that if I say that my husband's money is my money, that does not mean I'm going to not do anything with myself. That does not mean I'm going to not have a job. I'm going to not have a business that I do.
Okay.
Because there are times where you just want to buy it with your money. Because some people say that my husband's money is my money. Good. Or our money, then my money is my money.
Okay.
I personally think that's selfish though.
Yeah, it is selfish. Because my own thinking to that is, my husband's money, if I'm going to say that as it used to be, my husband's money is my money. And my money is to pamper my husband.
Good. Good.
Do you understand that?
I like that.
Because I went to speak at a conference where I told the ladies that day, they're like, the young ladies, I'm like, no, my husband's money is my money. My money is my money. The likes of favor, you know? And I said to them, you'll be so, so selfish to think that way, because if you consider him as one who's doing so much to bring the family together, going through the stress of the day, I feel that your money is supposed to make sure that he's okay. Exactly. Because the things that he doesn't do for himself, because he's very overwhelmed with the family tasks, you were to do that. Maybe getting him right clothes, taking him out on his birthdays, getting him the perfume.
With your money, not
with your money. Exactly. With your money, perfumes and all of that. That's the mindset. For every young girl, I'm suggesting that you do this, okay? Ladies in marriage as well. So let's talk about the fact that women get into marriage with that mindset. My husband's money is my money. Now, when the ships are down, they realize that the reality gets different. Because the man may easily say, leave my house.
Okay.
The man could say, what did you come to my house with? I remember.
What did you bring to the table?
What did you bring to the table? A lady came to me and said, the husband told her, check the house. The kitchen is, in his words, senior you. The tables, you know, and he said, even the chairs, they were married for 12 years. And the man had those things before her. You know, so he said to her that, what did you bring to my house when you came? You understand? And she said she regretted ever living as a couple. If she had had the mindset that, wait, that's your money. We can always work things together. So I am beginning to think that there needs to be a change of orientation or a reorientation where women begin to understand that, yes, on the surface, your husband's money is your money. In reality, to save ladies from the troubles of where do I go after marriage, what happens afterwards, because something happened last week. A lady reached out to me and she said that she got married to a young man. They're doing well for 4 years. The 5th year, he just woke up and said they want to get married to somebody else.
Wow.
And the next thing she could think of, I think they had 2 children, they could think of.
As a second wife, or while she's out of the house?
As a second wife. Okay. And while she was still in the house, he just told her one day, pack yourself, pack the children, since you don't want it. And they put her in the car and she met herself in her father's house. Do you understand that? And she was saying now she's stuck, doesn't know where to start from. And I said to her, if you had this mindset, at least you would have been able to put yourself in a position where I'm working. You can't be stuck. You can't get stuck. Because, see, there are things that you don't know about in the future.
Sure.
So
you don't even know people.
You don't even know people. So it made me, I had to ask her, where did you meet? She said, in church. He was the choir master. She was an usher. You know, so maybe I said to her, whilst they are both playing things in church, you walk past and say, I like you. And she said she's in shock about the change, how things went sour in a quick time. And now she's stuck because she doesn't have her own finance. And she always thought we were,
we're doing together.
We're doing together. But the reality comes in to say, no, pack your things and leave.
Well, I think that let me take you back a little.
Okay.
You talked about a lady that suddenly wanted hair. She changed from getting changed to wanting hair.
Won't you change it?
but everything is evolving. I used to know, or I know a lady that she was in a particular church.
Okay.
That they didn't wear earrings, they didn't wear all that, and then after some years, she started changing, and she started attending another church.
Oh, wow.
And then she has to start making her hair. People change, and these things are just normal. I would think that the husband did not handle it well, because if someone decides that, okay, I want to start wearing hair, I don't want to bleach thread again, let's meet halfway. I think he should have gotten her, okay, babe, sweetheart, what should we do? What do you want? You want hair, you want extension, you want, okay, I would like to, maybe the wife would say, I would like to get like 5 different kind of hairs. And the husband would say, no, yeah, I'm not saying that. Let's say she's extreme and she says, okay, I would like to get like 5 different kinds of hair. Since I'm just starting, I want to come out big.
Yeah, boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
And then the husband says, no, babe, let's start with 2.
Okay.
I don't think if the husband reasons out, I don't think she would
it's reasonable
buy 3
enough.
hair
I get
when he
it.
travels.
I get it.
So I think I can also blame the husband for that. And then let's come back to what you were talking about.
But don't you think that, again, realistically,
yes,
I'm speaking now as a marriage counselor who has seen
real life
experiences where the man will say, there's a conditioning pattern that you can condition your spouse without knowing with.
Okay.
And it's just like a lady who would not ask the husband for anything. She doesn't want to stress him because she understands that he's not financially stable at the time.
Okay.
And so she does the expenses, maybe caring for herself all by herself. And then God shines a light on them.
Money
comes. And the man begins to say, you are changing. You don't need to ask him for money before now. Do you understand that?
He never planned to take care of her. From the onset.
He never planned to
take care of her.
But do you now see it was a conditioning pattern that she brought him into? So he got used to
not taking care of his wife.
Taking care of his wife.
Then he should repent.
That's the thing. So this happens a lot with spouses, like a lot with, that's how they say, whatever you cannot finish, don't start, because you would definitely, it's like training a child to say, look at your routine here, do this. They get stuck with that routine. And if you decide to change, they're like, but how did it get here? How did it get here? So that could be the situation with the lady and the hair.
Okay.
The man is used to saying, I know a lady who had to cut her hair because the husband said, you never asked for money for your hair. Now you're out of job, you want to stress me.
These are all scenarios of husbands that need work. They need to work on themselves. They need to be better husbands.
Exactly.
I'm talking about a scenario where the husband knows that he should take care of his wife. These are women wanting hair is normal. It's not
luxury.
It's not luxury.
It's the right thing.
If you plan to take care of your wife, what you should be saying is, oh, I don't have money now. When I have money, babe, I will spoil you.
Let me ask you.
That's what the man should be saying. It will be a problem when the money comes.
And it doesn't. Again, I'm going to ask you a very practical question. How many men intentionally take care of their wives or think like this?
That's used to taking care of their wives. I think especially in this part of the world, women are just being strong for no reason. Nobody sends them to be strong. I'm a strong woman. I have to do this for myself. Even when a man does not have money, you know a man that will take care of you. You know a man that will take care of you, you know. So I remember when I was meeting my husband.
Yeah.
I remember complaining to a friend or a bigger cousin, like, I don't think he's ready. I don't think we're ready. We need to have more money first.
Yeah.
We need to have this one. We need to have that one. There are some things we've not bought. And the person said, okay, is that the only problem? I said, yes, but in other areas it's good though. If he has 500 naira, he can give me 350 or even 400 and hold 100 naira. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So now he doesn't have 1 million, he has 500
you can
naira.
see the potential.
You can see, yeah, you can see the potential. You can see that if this man has more, I'm done. Like yes, you see the if you are dating the person, you know, because I keep taking it back to when you are dating the person. I'm sorry, it's easier to start right than start fixing what.
Yes, I get it.
Worry people said, as you worry, or they know they use old age to learn a left hand. So I think that we begin from there, and then you know that this man can take care of me. He doesn't have money for trips, but he can take me to a hotel nearby to just spend the night. He doesn't have money for hotel nearby, but he can buy me something little. Just say Valentine or your birthday can get you something.
Yeah, it's intentional.
So yes, when he now has money, he will buy. He will buy. You know, you're talking about women that they send out of their homes because I know it can be very painful. It can be very painful when you realize that all your life you built, it was around, you built everything around your husband,
thinking that it was our
money. We're together, and then another woman comes in, and then you realize that you have nothing to your name. You have nothing. I understand. I grew up in an environment where Benin City, an environment where women, they don't joke with their money. They have their money. They are doing business. If you're just that your wife has a land.
Wow.
She's building a house. I'm not joking, no.
Wow.
If you're married to a Benin woman, you are in Benin together or somewhere else, know that she has the land and she's building. So then you say, Mama Sazua, come and be leaving my house. I want to marry Caro. Okay, I just mentioned my father's former second wife, sorry.
Okay.
Wherever you are. So come on, be going home. I want to marry Caro.
Yeah.
Just know she's moving to her house.
Wow.
She's moving to her home. I'm not even joking. And right now, I'm not saying that because we're in a different environment.
Absolutely.
We're children of God.
And the trend, the times are changing.
If you're not a Christian, you know, I am saying that I am advocating that my husband's money is my money because I trust him. Because marriage is trust. I trust that he's not going to send me out. Because if you're already planning that, let me build my house. So this man might send me out. You are planning to fail.
You are planning already to fail.
So just trust him.
You're having a plan B.
You're having a plan B. Like when he sends me out, I need to. So you gotta be building your house. He doesn't know you're building a house. That's already deception.
I think that word you said about that house building.
Yes.
I think it's common.
Okay.
Even the young ladies these days from that region. I counseled a lady recently, and while she was speaking to me, she said, "Mama, I won't tell lies to you. I'm already building." I just got married like a year plus.
A year plus.
Like a year plus.
Still doing honeymoon.
I tell you. And then you're already building. And I said, as a husband and wife, she said, "No, ma'am." I said, "No. First off, get the lawyer and change that document to the both of you." She said, "Ma," I said, "and the two shall become one." But you see, my perspective is still on that part where women get married and then assume, because it tends to, that's my perspective, it tends to give women a sense of laxity.
Okay.
Like, there's no need to do so much. My husband's money is my money. He's doing what he has to do. He's living his life. The money is my money. Again, when the ships are down, I've seen a situation where they married for 20-something years. And one day the man woke up and said, "You see, the kind of money I have, only one woman cannot enjoy it."
Only one woman. I've heard a similar story. There was a woman that said that you cannot have this man. I cannot have one wife. The first wife is very stingy or wicked to think that she will enjoy this money alone. So that was the second wife's perspective.
Wow.
I was shocked. I was this shocked.
A lady said that.
Yes, said that. So sorry, you're saying something.
Yes. So the man told his wife that, "You see, we've trained our children, and the way this money is coming, I'll be too much. You see, one woman cannot enjoy this money. Let me make them three. That's herself and the two other ladies." And she was like, "But I thought we grew this together. We started together." Wow. And then he deliberately made sure he had extra wives. So in the frustration, she was running up and down. In fact, she came to me and she was like, "What would she do?" And she did not invest, nothing. You know, the mindset that it's our money. Husband. There's no need to do anything extra. And when she came to me and she said, the first lady is his secretary.
Wow. It was not because of money. Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yes.
And then the third one, and then she said they were planning around December, was it last year, to go pay the bride price of the one who was pregnant.
Okay.
Yes. And when she came to me and she said she's tired, she doesn't know what to do with herself. And I said to her, what plans did you put in place for yourself as an individual? What did you do? She was just a teacher. I said, salaries,
contributions, savings. Okay, so first of all, that man did not get married to two other wives because he had money. He had extra money. Because there are so many things to do with that money apart from marrying extra. No matter how rich you are, the go-to is not to I need to get extra wives.
Okay.
You know? So I would say that we don't say that I want to make money, I want to do something for myself because my husband might send me out later. I think the mindset should be that I want to do something for myself.
Okay.
I want to be more relevant.
Beautiful.
I want to be more relevant, and then of course your husband will be proud of you. In a healthy marriage, in a healthy relationship, your husband wants you to earn money too.
Good.
Wants you to be your own person, wants you to achieve greater heights.
That's a healthy relationship.
A healthy relationship.
Now, a realistic, you want to say realistic is, I have counseled both the healthy and then the realistic. And
but the healthy is also realistic.
Now, yes, it is. Yeah. If we're going to put it by number or numbers, you can actually count the healthy.
Okay.
Those who understand the fundamentals of marriage. It's very scanty. Yeah. And then those I have handled who are going through the ups and the downs. There are things I'm like, but you should have known this. You see, but now you just mentioned not about having a plan, preparing yourself in case. Now, it's not about in case. And the fact is, you were able to work on yourself as an individual, not relying on your husband. Yeah. That's the part I'm trying to focus on, not relying on your husband to say he has the money, so let me just be enjoying myself. And the fact is, again, humans change. Change is the constant thing. So I sat one and I began to say, the cases that come to my table are cases of women, I'm not saying plan B, but women who were able to stand. Have your feet on the floor to say, I'm a woman. Even if, an instance, if you weren't married before, won't you stand?
Exactly. You would stand.
Won't you stand? Yes. Because it's now becoming like a pity party thing. Oh, he deceived. Oh, because it's his money. Oh, leave my house. And that is why they remain there. They get beaten. They can't leave to at least get solutions. You know, there's a place, there's something I taught somewhere. I spoke about separation, not divorce. Separating to find your feet, to the foot rather. So they can't even separate because in the first place, how do they want to move?
Where would she go?
Where would she go? And so the man is saying, if I come back from work, I'm going to kill you.
Don't leave my house.
If you don't leave my house. One of them came to my house one day. In fact, the mother called me and said, Ma, call police, call police, call police. When she showed me the lady's video on the video call. Oh my God. The chest was swollen.
Oh, wow.
The eye, one of the eyes was already bloodshot. The head was swollen. And the man said, I warned her, I don't want to see her in my house when I return. So I said, why didn't you leave? At least she said you didn't have fare to leave. You didn't even know where to go to. You didn't have nothing.
Now, my husband's money is my money does not mean I should not have savings. That savings is not to plan to move.
Not that to plan to move.
It's for emergencies, and this is an emergency. So when your kids are sick and your husband is not around,
what do you do?
What do you do? I think we take it too far sometimes. Yes, my husband's money is my money, but I will still be my own human being. Like, just be like
that's the focus.
Like you said, before I got married, I was my own. I don't know how people. Well, let me bring out something from all of this. You know that I don't know. Some time ago, I used to be like that too. I don't want to ask for money. It's all stemming from somewhere. Yes, as a psychologist, I know that you understand.
I do.
It's all stemming from somewhere. It's all coming from, I don't want what it did to my mother.
I get it.
I don't want it. If you don't heal from that, heal from that
you will bleed.
Yes. I don't want what it did to my mother, so I don't want to be asking man for money. you don't have to ask for man for money. You are giving birth for this man. You use your money. So I think that a lot of women,
I can even call it your entitlement.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Get that.
A lot of women are not what would I call it, vulnerable. I think in marriage, you have to be vulnerable in every area. It's not easy to let your guards down. It's not easy to just leave yourself for a person. I know that it's not easy, but you have to learn it. It is marriage. I'm standing for marriage. I'm for marriage. Like, okay. I think it's gonna work if we are vulnerable enough to not plan for that kind of rainy day. You're planning for, let me just have my money. Not for, it's a mindset. Someone was advising me some years ago and was saying, okay, why do you trust your husband so much? You can change. Like you said, you talked about change. People change. And that was kind of polluting my mind.
I get it.
Because
it affects
yes,
you. Get home and you're looking at him like,
yeah, because she said that herself and her husband, they were Romeo and Juliet. Everybody knew her around, and then she never knew that her husband could cheat. And then her husband, so she was actually advising me that I should prepare my mind for that time.
Yeah, okay. Just,
do you understand?
I get it.
So I'm trying to relate it also to finance.
Okay.
Vulnerability means that I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. That does not mean that I'm not going to have money put aside.
It doesn't also mean that you just stay there as a woman, doing nothing tangible with yourself.
No, you have to do something apart from making money. Apart from making money, you have to be relevant.
Be relevant.
What do you come to this life to do? Did you come to be a wife? That's not all you came to be. Yes, being a wife is a major part of a married woman's life.
It is.
But there is a satisfaction you also get from being
relevant.
Being relevant. What are you doing? Let's say, for instance, you have an organization. Some women actually have their own what they call it, motherless babies homes and all this. Yeah, women that have plans. Yes, I want to make impact. Where do you get this money from? Sometimes you might burden your husband with all that stress of, babe, I need this, babe, I need this. It feels good when you have your money to spend. So apart from planning to move out or planning, it feels good to have your money to spend. You know, and sometimes there are some situations that are not predictable.
Absolutely.
Anything can happen. There are these situations whereby the husband died. The man died, and then the woman is stranded. In some parts of Nigeria, the woman everything is taken away from her. And then she has nothing to take care of her children. You know, just have. In fact, I think men can also help their wives say, take this.
Take this. It's put in your account. Who's ready to save? There's some women. Some are not ready. Some are the it's now kind of. That's what I'm saying. That they get the money, but they have nothing to show for it. Every ashemi that comes out, they want to buy. The latest party, I remember then growing up, I don't even know how much that cost.
Very expensive now.
You know, growing as a lady at the compound who, oh my goodness, you know, one lady I looked at and I said, I will never be anything close to her. Never. She would be in the compound from morning till the evening with wrapper on her chest, out at the balcony, counting the cloth that passes by.
Wow.
And saying this, okay, that even cheap wrapper, cheap cloth, oh, that one is expensive. And then the husband returns from work and gives her money. And the one she saw that she liked, she would go buy and want to be in competition with, you know. And then she'll call me and say, see that lady? Said,
you could not relate. But in the same WhatsApp group, sorry.
You know, when I was still in secondary school, I think early secondary school, and I told myself,
wow,
that young, and I said, at this age, look at how you're thinking. Now, years went by again, and I realized that they're no longer together. She went to the village with the children, 5 children.
He's tired.
That's a wicked. You know, what happened with that money that he was giving to her? And, you know, it's more like a talent you are reproducing.
Sure.
And working on that money. Now, not about saving for the raining day of in case the ships are down. Just have something to fall back to.
True.
I know why I'm saying this. Sometimes you're like, man, look at what happened. Okay, oh my God. Just last week, I have over 10 cases.
Wow.
Just last week.
It's
becoming a pandemic. Over 10 cases. There's one of them right now. She's trying to stay from one house to the other with her 2 children. And I said, you're in your 40s. What happened? What happened? And she says, whatever you're going to just help with, because she just needs to find a place. She's living in the church right now. Someone gave her a place in the secondary school, but she's scared because of the environment.
Yeah, it's not safe.
So I said to her, if you had been keeping saving,
you're going to rent one room.
At least
it doesn't have to be a duplex. Just rent a place.
So at least have your heads.
Yeah, your children. People don't plan.
People don't plan. And that is why when things are not as stable, you don't have a plan. You don't have anything to fall back to.
True.
And then it begins to give the picture of nobody's helping. The pity party thing we get in, the self-pity we get in.
Coming in.
Do you understand?
I think the lady you talked about, let me begin from there. You talked about a lady that ties wrapper. I want to mention that a lot of people, I learned something a few years back, that the opportunities and the privileges, the environment I've been opportune to come into and learn some things. I don't take it for granted.
Absolutely.
Because most of these people, they do not know. It is how they grew up, maybe how they saw their mother. We're not going to compare that woman to you, for example. You grew up in a home where your mother was
everybody was up and
exactly.
doing.
So that is the influence. So what kind of influence did she have? And what kind of friends does she have? The influence is also going to help her choose the kind of friends she wants. Yeah, that's why you see people organizing programs to empower women. Now, the empowerment is not just to give them money, to empower their mind.
Mind shift.
Yeah, so when you know that I can't just be like this forever. A friend of mine was telling me some months ago that she's so happy she has something she's doing now, because her son used to ask her, Mommy, Mommy, Daddy is doing his job and this job. What are you doing? What are you doing? I think that's scary.
It is.
So you don't want to, because you're talking to your daughter and your daughter notices that you're not doing anything. I'm not saying that stay-home moms, is anything wrong with them.
Nothing.
If you can communicate that effectively to your child, because you're not going to stay home forever
at all.
When they are grown to a certain age, you're going to get something to explain that to your child, you know. But I think it's also what we model to our children.
Yes.
So let them not see that all you do is, you don't even, so you are not doing anything. Your husband is, for a woman not to be doing anything, her husband has money. In this economy that we are in.
Of course.
If a woman is jobless, is not doing any business, no online business, no side hustle, her husband has money. That means your husband has money enough to give you pocket money. That means he has money enough to give you food money to stock the house that you will have extra from. I'm not saying, I'm not advocating
that's the word.
That I'm not advocating that your husband gives you 200 or 300,000, you take and then start starving your family. I'm just saying that there is no way you won't have money, and I'm not also advocating that you increase school fees. I've heard stories of people increasing school fees, but
is it real?
Yeah. People
please, if you're inflating school fees, repent
they
today.
Inflate, and they have a standing agreement with school owners, and then and then if my husband agree that it is 500,000. And then they make money from that. Okay, so if you make money from that, at least save the money.
I feel there's communication. You don't need those things.
You don't need those things. That reminds me of some years ago, I had, relationship, people that you make friends with, you have to be very careful. They influence you,
great deal.
You don't really have a mind of your
behavior,
own.
your personality.
Everything. So it's not only children that are being influenced.
At all.
Grown-ups, women.
It's a human thing.
They are being influenced.
It's a natural thing.
I remember one lady asking me, telling me, how much are they giving you? See, my own, this is the amount I take from it. So this is the amount, if I want to buy a bag, if I want to buy clothes, this is the amount I take from food money or money for the family. And then I could not relate. If I don't have a job and I need clothes, I can ask my husband. So I don't have to take money from food. So it didn't make sense.
You couldn't relate.
I didn't tell her that it didn't make sense, because I don't want to. I didn't tell her that it did not make sense at all. So there are a lot of things women can do now.
Yes.
To get money. I
love that statement.
Money. There are a lot of things.
A lot of things women can do.
A lot of things you can do now to make money. Some time ago, my husband was not around and my daughter was sick. I had to take her to the hospital. I didn't want to go to the hospital and say, sorry, ma, I'm trying to call my husband to send money. Daddy, I didn't go.
What happened to reception?
He didn't go that well with me at all. I didn't want to be seen. I know that there are women who totally depend on their husband, but the husband should have
at least
an account that she can have access to.
At least,
you know, and then that you can also save from there, so that you're not just totally.
You're not empty.
Now the dependence I'm talking about, not that you're not vulnerable. It is good to be vulnerable.
Of course,
like odogus. you have an odogu as a husband. You have an odogu as a husband. He doesn't want you to do anything.
Yeah,
he wants to lavish and spend on you. Still have savings in case your husband is an odogu. I think there are few.
Even odogus. With the odogus, again, very realistic part. Even with your odogus, have something to fall back to. There are some odogus who were wealthy, who are no longer where they used to be.
That is another one.
Have something to fall back to. There are some odogus, God forbid, who passed.
Yeah. And then their wives
become like there's a case I handled. The lady came to me, and that was how they stopped schooling.
Oh, the children.
They all stopped schooling. They began to sell on the road. She had to send one of them to the uncle's house in the village. An uncle, someone who was feeding the family, now his children are the ones who are begging food from the family. So by the time everything went down and the man passed, from the funeral, they all left the woman and the children.
Even people that do not want their wives to work, they set up business for their wives.
Do you understand?
So set up a business for your wife that she can always, at least, and I don't mind this. I can just be sitting and don't do anything. You're not doing anything. You're not productive. Yourself. You're not productive. No. That's not.
Most times it's the woman. I always say to women, if you really want to be productive, nothing can stop you.
Exactly.
Nothing can stop you.
If he says don't work,
there is a way you can choose that battle where it will favor you. Sure. You can have your way. I spoke to someone, I said to them that day one, he says, no way. Day two, I said, dishing the food. That is, I was just thinking about that. You see, that's something. There is a way.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Next
I don't be rude about it.
Of course. That's why I said you can choose your battles.
Yes.
Another time again, it's his birthday, you get him maybe a perfume and say, how does this smell? You see, I was thinking about this perfume business. I was thinking, see, the profit.
And he knows you are manipulating him, but he's falling.
But he's falling.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So, with that, you can always have what you want.
Sure.
Especially if you know it's not a wasteful life. Have something to fall back to. Now, let's look at this point of view of your husband's money is your money that many ladies carry on that would make the single ladies today not do anything with their lives. Because waiting to marry a rich man. Like, what am I doing? Nothing really. What do you bring to the table? I'm just enough. See, let me just.
I'm just enough.
And someone would say, see, a lady on an interview I watched her, she said, if you want to get married to me now, at least have like 900 million in your account. So that 500K for maybe this. And the interviewer asked the lady, what do you do? She said, it's not really important what I do.
Oh, wow.
And then he asked her, how much do you have in your account? And then when she called the money, man said, it's not even enough to buy the cloth for the traditional marriage. And then you're waiting and you don't do anything because of that mindset. So I'm beginning to think that mindset is encouraging the sisters today. It's even encouraging the slave queen life.
Yeah. It is influencing our children.
That is it.
It's influencing our children. You see, the kind of life that women want in our society. You want to have equality with men. You don't want men to be favored in an environment. But you are not acting it as a woman. You're not acting it. You're not owning your life. You're not owning your life. You want a man to be your everything financially. But see, these men, as much as they love you, they're also human beings.
They are also human.
They can have disrespect. They can have a form of disrespect for you in their heart. They might not say that out of love. They can have a form of respect for you. They see that if you're not doing anything, you start doing something with your life. You see that your husband becomes proud.
Absolutely.
And it's good.
Do you know the private?
It's like my wife is this. You just pay attention.
You just pay attention.
My wife is this. do something and then earn some respect.
Earn some respect.
Earn some respect in your home, earn some respect in the society.
Absolutely.
So you are a woman that has your own money. Nobody's going to look down on you. Nobody's going to treat you like trash. If not for anything, do that for yourself.
Are you even aware that the what's the word now? The percentage of ladies who are abused in marriage, if you look at it, higher with those who are doing nothing with their lives compared to those who are doing something with their lives.
They have businesses.
But
there are some psycho men that
that's what I'm saying.
They are envious of their
that's what I'm talking entirely. Yeah, I had that topic.
And then they will do everything. You have to offend them.
I know.
They just realize that you got promoted.
I know. And then it tampers with their ego. That aspect of it where many men, should I say many men, a high percentage of men do not want their wives to be more successful than them. I get it. There are some men who will say to me that Mrs. Anderson, she won't be submissive. Many will say that. And some will say, once she has the money, she gets into her head. That even small change now, see how she's talking to me, she won't serve the food anymore, and all of that. And there have been women who have come to me to say that they are not where they want to be because they are scared of their husbands. Because the little progress they make, they've seen it tamper with him, and then how he reacts. That sometimes, like you said, psycho men, they get physical and abusive, Now, in that kind of situation, I am thinking that such men may have come out from a home where the mothers were not that productive, where they are used to mothers being in the house. There's a way they equate the old school mothers to this time. They always want
your wife.
Do you get that? They want that kind of mother that would be in the kitchen, have the wrapper, take children to school, come back, and then all of a sudden you were doing something, and then you were moving, you were progressing, you were pushing the career. It could be a threat to the man. I remember having to host a sisters conference some time ago, and more than half of the ladies in the room were crying. They said they are where they are because of their husbands. One of them got a job, and the man said, if you take that job, we are done. Like if you move to accept that employment letter, we are done in this thing.
Yes, this is a very common situation.
It is, and sensitive one too.
It's sensitive. So there are men who came out from a home where their moms weren't doing anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then there are some men also who came out from a home where their moms were breadwinner and overriding their fathers. So they've had bad experience with mothers being breadwinner.
I get it.
Yeah. So I think that women can do better in this area. You can do better. You don't assume maybe you're earning more now.
It doesn't mean
you're earning 2 million or 5 million and your husband's salary is 500,000,
like a quarter your amount.
And then you just somehow, as the bride is entering, you'll be casting it out.
That is it.
It will ruin your marriage. There is no man
that would tolerate it.
There's no man, even if the man wants your progress, wants you to be better, wants you to earn more.
Be careful.
If you start rubbing it in, there's a problem. Don't rub it in with your attitude, because some don't say anything, but their attitude is saying otherwise. I beg, I'm late for work. My job is more important than your job. I'm late for work. My job, after your job that is, in fact, you can stop working and then just become a stay-home dad. Let me take it from here. All these things I've said now, they did not say with their mouth
at all.
Attitude. Body language. You know us now. So women. So I think men are not just guiding their ego for nothing.
I get it.
They've seen experiences. They don't want to wait until it happens to them.
Maybe a friend.
Yes. They don't want to wait until it happens to them.
I get it.
They are learning from others. They are saying, okay, if this happens, this woman, and then they know their wives.
They do.
A man knows a woman that will be proud.
And
he knows the one that will be humble. He knows this is my wife. If she
dares, and
if somebody enter her hand, I'm done.
I even said to women who came to me that day, I said to them that you can actually lure your husband into accepting your field of career.
Yes.
This thing is wisdom.
Wisdom.
You see that? You can, the proverb said the one woman, she did many things. She was industrious. She had maids.
She had help.
You can't have maids until you have, except you have many things to do.
Exactly.
And even with that, you see what she kept doing. You know,
paying attention to her
she
husband,
kept doing. Look at what she
clothes,
called him.
respect,
Made him
honoring her
known it. Do you
husband,
understand?
honoring her husband. In fact, when a woman honors her husband, in fact, when a woman is rich and with all that wealth,
and she's
she
intentional
honors
with
her
the
husband,
owner.
that man can do anything for you.
That
and then when
is
friends
it.
come around and like, your wife is wifing you, and like you can break up
with the friends.
Like, you don't know my wife. You don't know my wife. Do you understand? So I think this one, women will have a lot to do. It's a
topic that yes.
And then there are men who are just not comfortable with women being financially more stable.
I get it.
There are men who will look at their wife's finance and like, my wife is doing this business and she's earning more money from what I am earning. I'm earning 50,000. How my wife's business is bringing millions.
It's booming.
Babe, I think I'm going to quit this job and join you. That takes a lot of manliness.
Now, let me quickly say something. The remaining, I think we have just 2% of them, and they're all married already.
No. These men are also raising. They are raising younger ones for our daughters.
Yes.
They are raising the ones. Yes. You just have to trust God. They are raising, because we can't do without these men.
Absolutely.
They are men, and then they are not egocentric.
They are not.
And then their wives do not bring them down. I'm still talking about wives.
That is it.
You know, a man don't just wake up one morning and start enforcing that, I'm the man of this house.
I wanted to say
that.
I'm the man. I wanted to say
that. A man does not say I'm the man of this house. If you have not made him less,
you have not tampered with his ego.
He doesn't have to convince. He's the man. You have done something,
and he may be subconscious. You see, I always say to women, after having a conference with the women in my office some time ago, training on the mind, one of them got home and began to invest in herself, began to boom financially, and the next thing she began to call her husband boy.
Wow.
And when she came to me and said, Mama, my husband, I said, you don't call your husband by name before me. I said, success should not make, I said, if you're a married woman and you are successful, it's sweeter than you are successful and then you're not able to keep your home. Exactly. What are you teaching the younger generation? That it's okay to be poor. Do you understand?
She's watching.
So it then looks as though it's only women who are not successful that can keep a home.
Yeah, that's a stereotype. That's what a lot of women
that have picturing
the younger ones are saying that, and then the men are saying that. See, if your wife doesn't have money, you can couple her more. You can put her in her place. When she starts making money,
you are done for.
But if the woman respects and honors her husband, he will let you fly.
That is it.
And then if there's a man who has, that it is not because of this woman that you are misbehaving. You know that it's not this woman. You know that this woman is honoring you. Yes. It's all her success. She's honoring you.
No, there are some like that. There are some like that. There are some like that. The lady is earning so much, and she's in her mid-30s, earning so much. And this man, she's established him. The cement industry, the building industry, many things for him. Yet, he will crumble everything. And he will say to her, after all, you have more money than bring it.
That's
bring it. Dimension.
That's another.
Bring it.
Wow.
So we have a lot to
and she's frustrated.
Dissect. She is frustrated. At the point she came to me and said she wants to run away. We had children. I said, no, I don't encourage
this one is not the man being egocentric and
being
on the man. This is the man being
intimidated.
Take care of me.
And one day she woke up with belts on her body.
Wow.
Like I told her, he looked at her with anger and envy. And then he began to whip the hell. At some point, he tied the belt to her neck and he began to drag her on the floor. So she went to the station to report. I don't know how he was able to buy his way through, and then they channeled the blame to her.
And it's a man's word.
Do you understand? So when she came through, we were able to tackle that. I sent for the man. We had some counseling sessions and all of that. But again, I want us to be able to speak to women so that we don't carry on this stereotype where it's only women who are not successful that can keep a home. And also it also has a way of encouraging men not to assist their wives when it comes to maybe building a career, because they feel, no. Look at Nkechi. The day she began to have that work, she changed, So again, if women are able to understand that there's a balance, I can be successful and then honor my husband. That's the balance that we need to put there. I can run a good career and still give my husband his due honor. and still call him my Lord. Do you understand? Yeah. Let's see how we can give the younger generation a template to run with.
There are two categories of women. I heard a pastor talking about his wife not working, and that's her ministry.
Okay,
that's her ministry, to take care of him, because he said he did not want. When he was getting married, he said he don't want to marry a woman that I'm going to London today. You are going to Kafanchan, and then the children are there. He said he knew it was going to be a ministry, and then he needed a wife
that would tend the family.
If you find a woman like that, praise God forevermore. But if you find a woman that does not want to do that, there's nothing wrong with her at all. And always know that a happy mother, a happy woman, a happy wife is a happy home.
It's a happy home.
If you deny her of those things she wants to achieve in life, she's going to resent you.
She'll be depressed.
She'll be depressed. She's going to resent the children. She's going to think, these people limited me. These people pulled down my life. So if you will know that your wife wants to become more than just your wife and the mother of your children. And if you find that, fan the flame, encourage her. Look for, if you do not encourage her, sometimes you can lead to
a lot of things, frustration.
She might frustrated. Some that are bold enough can just leave the marriage and like, I want to, please, I need to be.
Your sanity.
Yes, I'm leaving. I want to become something in life.
Even the ones that happen to at the first instance want to tend to the family, again, change.
They see other women, they attend seminars, they hear things, and then, I can be more. I can be more.
Okay, I can be more. Handling family, there's more.
And then, please, that's I'm relating it to that man who said was angry that his wife bought 3 hair at the same time on a go. The thing is that we can always work these things out.
Yes,
we did not enter marriage with a template that we're all following. We enter marriage with always possibility of change and transitioning.
That's the word, and transitioning, evolving.
And then let's meet halfway. Let's say, okay, babe, you now want to work, but you didn't want to work at the beginning now. You know why? She talks to you and like, babe, I feel better. I think I'll feel better. Okay, what do we do? Let's see how we can
meeting at the middle.
Unless you don't want your marriage to work. Unless you don't want, if you don't meet at the middle and then try to figure things out with you understanding the man's fears, the man understanding your fears, and you understand, you just understand each other. And then, okay, so you say, let's get this job. Where do you want to work? So how do we juggle this with children? Do we get a help? See, that is love.
That is love.
That is love. Now, you're not just, a lot of women complain. You see this matter, a lot of women complain that they just came to this life to help their husband fulfill their purpose.
So true.
Some say it, some don't. You know, the ones that say it are better. The ones that don't, they resent the man. They look at the man. You see some people just take a knife and stab their husbands. They resent the man. They look at the man like, all my life. A friend of mine told me back in school like 12 years ago, that her mom, just imagine a child that is in university. So imagine how old her mom would be. And her mom just woke up one morning and said, she has a job. She has a job, her husband, and said, I'm tired. I'm tired of just being, I'm tired of all my life is children, husband. Wow. I don't have time for myself. Now she has a job. She has a job that earns her money. But now she just realized that she doesn't have, that's another topic.
Another topic, taking care of themselves.
She doesn't have time. She just went to the village. They had to go and beg her. Said she's not doing it again. She's
an old woman. Children in the university.
Exactly. Imagine how old. So when you talked about somebody divorcing his wife after 30 years, I understand. There are women that are just waiting for their children to get to school and then go and then they leave. And then some, when the children are married and not have children, they just use Omugo
and as an escape.
and then they go, because they have never been that happy. They have never been happy in their marriage. So how do you make your wife happy? How do you make your husband happy? Because we're not just talking about wives.
Both parties.
So it is these things that you don't ignore. You don't pretend like they don't exist. You don't pretend like your wife does not have the right to desire. That she doesn't have the right to want to become somebody or want to become better. She doesn't have the right to want to become the president of Nigeria. To evolve. She has the right to become the president of Nigeria. She can. She can be the president, and then you are the first man. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Let her be. You know that so some successful. We look at them, see their husband. They are happy.
Tell you.
They're happy. And you that you want to be. You know right from childhood. You know that this miso I don't just want to be a mom and a wife. And then you're not going to marry a man
that will cage you,
that already wants a stay-at-home wife. you are shooting your leg.
That's
on
where
the
what's it called now? Courtship, the dating period.
Yes, you know the kind of man he is. You say,
able
my wife
to
will not do this. So my wife will not do this. Just know that this is not your boat.
path.
Yeah, don't enter.
Yes.
Don't stress us. Don't stress Mrs. Anderson. Don't stress Mrs. Anderson to start bringing issues when you can actually handle it from the beginning. So my advice is that start from the beginning. If you are not married yet,
good one.
You are in a very good place to make a lot of decisions,
corrections,
a lot of corrections, a lot of decisions. You can break up with that man if he thinks you are too expressive, like my sister mentioned that a man said you know too much. You can break up with him, and then where you are in that place already, where you think the man is strangling you, not physically now, everything you feel choking. Like you're in the wrong place. You feel like you're just living your life for this man. You can have a conversation with him.
That's the word.
Have a conversation with him. If he's not listening, bring someone in. Tell him the dangers of not letting you become.
That is it.
If he knows the dangers and understands very well, you start from that there. And then before you know it, everybody is fine.
And then bring your matter in the right way.
Yes, presentation matters.
Because it's not about, see, go look at Nkechi. Go and look at that. Her husband just gave her that money. No, bring your matter in a very polite way.
So that you can make your own money.
So that you can make your own money.
Exactly, that's what we're talking about. You make your own money, and then his money is still your money. That's my point. His money is still your money.
That's her point. My point is his money. I'm not saying his money is his money.
Okay.
Entirely. I'm saying his money is for the family.
Okay.
You inclusive of everybody.
Because I'm the family. I'm the table.
Do you want? Or you're the pot. You get that?
Yes.
I'm not saying that the money is his entirely. What I'm saying is that mindset that makes a woman live that will make a woman live a small life.
Small life.
Because she thinks my husband's money is my money. Leave that perspective and do something tangible. You just mentioned there are many things to do in this day and time.
Sure.
You can do copywriting, you can do online drop shipping, you can do physical activities. Even
while nursing your baby.
That's what I'm saying. Whilst nursing your baby, have something come into your account from your end. So here is where we draw the curtain today. I know I enjoyed myself. How did you feel today?
I enjoyed it.
It was fun. We're going to be coming your way real soon for more hot topics. So you can ask questions in the comment and we are sure to respond to them. This is where we draw the curtain on Buried Old Mrs. Anderson, and see you real soon. Bye-bye.